Hey, what's up? My name is Preston Black. I teach guitar lessons down at the Huntsville Institute of Music. And today I figured I would do a simple lesson on pentatonic scales. And what we're going to talk about pretty much is just one pattern of the pentatonic scale. And this would, by the way, the pentatonic scale is a scale that's commonly used for playing lead guitar. And there's plenty of other scales too that are used for playing lead guitar, but pentatonic is one of the most common scales to use. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and it's basically just two pentatonic scales. The major pentatonic scale and the minor pentatonic scale. And we're going to start off with the minor pentatonic scale, and it's just one shape, like I said, that we're going to use for today. This shape is going to look like this. Say, for instance, well, we'll talk about the keys and everything here in a minute, but the pattern, and you can start it anywhere on the whole fretboard, and we'll talk about that, but I'm going to start it on the 5th fret. So on the 6th string, the big string, it starts off on the 5th fret, and you're going to use your first finger for this, and you pick that note. And then you're going to use your pinky finger, you're going to go up to the 8th fret, same string, you pick that, and then we'll move on to the 5th string, and it'll be the 5th fret again, and then the 7th fret, and then it'll be the exact same thing on the next string. 5th fret, and the 7th fret, and then the 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret on the 2nd string, 8th fret, and then the next string will be the 5th fret, and then the 8th fret. And that's the pattern. And for all of the, all of that stuff, that's the common pattern that I use, and a lot of people use that pattern. It's a really common pattern. And then, so now let's talk about how to play that in different keys. To be able to play this in different keys, what you have to know is you need to know something called the root note. And in all of these notes, there are several root notes in this pattern. And a root note is the note that determines the key. So one root note, one spot that is a root note is the first note in this pattern is a root note. So whatever note that is going to be the key that you're in. And in this case, the 5th fret on the 6th string is an A note. So this would be an A, and the name of the scale is minor pentatonic scale, so A minor pentatonic scale. But you have to know how to name all of the notes on the 6th string to be able to do this. And they have charts, online and in books where that has all of the notes laid out. But there's really an easy way actually to know how they work. First of all, it goes in order of the alphabet through G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and after G it starts back over at A. And then you just have to know where to start. Like this string here, this is the E string, the 6th string open is E. So you just go through the alphabet after E, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, over and over and over. And the other thing to remember is all of the notes are 2 frets apart, except for E to F and B to C. They're just going to be 1 fret apart. So, for instance, on the 6th string we have E, which is open, and then we have E to F. F is next. It's just going to be 1 fret, so F is going to be on the 1st fret. And then we have G, 2 frets, and then it starts back over at A, another 2 frets, and then B, 2 frets, and then C's next. It's only 1 fret. And then D, and then starts back over at E. And you'll notice when it starts over, you're on the double dots, and that's what that means. That's where everything starts over. We have a low E, and we have a higher E. That's the next octave. And then it continues down the neck until you run out of frets. And then So that's basically how that's how you name all of the notes on the whole fretboard. It's actually easy. If this is an F note on the first fret, which it is, if that's a G, this in-between note is two names. In certain situations you would call it one as opposed to the other, but you could either call it an F sharp, sharp means you move up one fret, or you could call it a G flat. So that's what the in-between notes would be called, sharps or flats. So like I said, on this pattern, whatever your first note is, that's the key that you're in. And there are other spots too in that pattern, in that scale, that are also the root notes. And whenever you're soloing, and we'll save this for another time, whenever you're soloing, that's one thing to focus on, is resolving to those root notes. Okay, so that's the minor pentatonic. If you want to make that the major pentatonic, there's many different perspectives on this, but the way that I learned it originally, which was easy for me, is just simply think of it as, take that shape, move it down 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, play the exact same thing. But when you play that, your root note, which in this case is A, is going to be in a different spot. It's not in the first spot anymore. Now it's in the second spot, and the other spots have changed also. So in the major pentatonic scale, it's the same pattern, but your root note is in the second spot. It's the second note of the pattern. So, and that translates also whenever you're improvising using this scale, you got to land on those root notes. And that's what makes it sound like a major pentatonic. A major pentatonic has more of a southern rock country kind of twang. Like that. And a minor pentatonic has more of a bluesy rock and roll sound. So it just depends on what kind of sound that you want. Now, also, playing a scale like this, and then turning that into turning it into, sounding more like music, is a whole nother subject. To be able to do that, you got to learn a whole bunch of licks and phrases and techniques like hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, and vibrato and bends and all kinds of stuff like that, which we'll save for another day. Or you could just sign up for lessons and we could get deeper into that stuff. But that's pentatonic scale. That's pretty much all there is to it. Minor pentatonic scale, the first note is your root note. So whatever note that is the key that you're in. And to make that major pentatonic, you move it down 3 frets. And now your second note is your root note. So whatever note that is the key that you're in. So this would be a minor pentatonic if I resolve to that note. And then this would be the A major pentatonic if I resolve to the second note. Okay, so that's pentatonic scale for you. Hope that helped out, and I'll talk with you guys later. Thanks.